Hey folks, welcome back to NiteCap. I get a lot of viewer responses and viewer feedback to these episodes, these conversations, which, in my opinion, one of the main purposes is to try to delve into who and what we really are and just get at the core, get at the root so we can really understand ourselves as people, as humanity. And the conversation I had with Chad Johnson, the debate about monogamy, is one of the first conversations that I'm gonna be, I guess, reading some reader feedback that I found very provocative and giving you my take on my thoughts on the feedback, because I really want us to start engaging. And you know, this is family. You know, NiteCap was created for you. It was created for the people. You know, I like to say it's the show for the people, by the people. So the first feedback I'm gonna read is, I found this email very, very provocative. It's from a viewer in Canada, and out of respect, I'm gonna conceal the names of the people who, you know, are giving me this very positive feedback, and I appreciate the feedback. So I read this and I wanted to share with you guys and see what you think, and I'm gonna tell you what I think. Here goes. Hi, Peter. I just watched your YouTube video with Chad Johnson, and I found it quite interesting on a couple of levels. The first being that today his Montreal Alouettes just lost to my Hamilton T-Cats in a game that he didn't play. He's about to realize that he may not make the Montreal team, and that the game of football, like the game of life, is much bigger than his personal ego. I don't think he will be able to make the team. He's not good enough compared to the other players. Wow. However, of more interest is this issue of monogamy, which you talked in depth with him and others about. I found this interesting because I'm now 34 years old and I have wrestled with this issue since I was 18. I met a girl at that time who changed the course of my life by uttering a simple phrase: I don't think I believe in the whole monogamy feeling. For years, I tried different approaches, lying to myself that I was in love when I wasn't, being in love and trying to bury the feelings, open relationships, swinging, just being single, cheating, the whole 9 yards. I don't think there's an easy answer to the question except to say that the spiritual self is different from the animal one. By accepting the animal nature, we can evolve past it. Unfortunately, you are way too successful, and like you say in the interview, it narrows the scope of the type of woman you are attracting. If you really want the woman who will live under the bridge with you, the woman I want is the one that's gonna be under that bridge with me, that we gonna build something with, man.
If you got to go under that bridge, she leaving your ass.
I think part and parcel of that is you willing to live under the bridge yourself and with that woman. For myself, I was quite savvy with money when I was young, invested it wisely and saved well. I'm not rich and famous, but have accumulated a net worth in the high 6 figures. However, I refused to buy a house and car in Canada and instead went to go live in China. I lived in very modest dwellings and ate noodles most nights. I met the woman of my dreams, a lovely Chinese girl from a small mountain village in rural China. She spoke a little English and I a little Mandarin. We basically did live under the bridges together. We married in November, and come April, my past and my beliefs about non-monogamy came up. She cried and couldn't understand it, but vowed to try. And the most important part is that I always vowed to try and understand her. If she believed in monogamy as a virtue, why was that? We still haven't come to a solid solution except for the unexpected revelation that the two of us really do love each other, and whatever happens, that will never change. It's an incredible feeling to know you have someone like that in your life.
You know how I talk about that plate?
Yeah.
Your plate already been full.
Yeah.
The chances of meeting that woman that is at your side cooking that plate.
Yeah, that's what I think.
They're very few. Maybe when you're in college, when you're eating that top ramen.
True.
You know, those that are marrying those, like back in the days, she's been here through thick and thin.
True.
Yeah, that's very rare. It happens very seldom.
So my advice, if you really want to meet a good woman, go where they are. Unfortunately, in America, The whole country is one big reality TV show.
I think culturally I think that's also a cultural thing. I think in other cultures, they're there for each other. I think that as a capitalistic society, we're run by materialism.
I ain't seen no other cultures.
Well, I'll tell you the truth.
Up under no bridge.
That seems to have turned the nation into a brothel, and the men flaunt their money to see who can be the highest bidder. The world is bigger than that. The world is bigger than Chad Johnson's narrow perceptions, as he's about to find out when Montreal cuts him because he's spending time smoking cigars instead of studying game film. Wow. I like to thank that viewer who I'm gonna call Tom. As for Chad, I wish Chad all the luck. I spoke to Chad a couple days ago, actually yesterday, and he's doing well in Canada, so good luck to Chad. But on this larger issue, I think what I found very provocative is when Tom called America is one big reality TV show that seems to have turned the nation into a brothel, and men flaunt their money to see who can be the highest bidder. My thoughts on that is, in many ways, I believe that materialism has eroded the essence of what love truly is, which is understanding a person's mind, body, and soul. In my own personal life, all my conversations I engage in actually so I can learn, so you can learn. I think what I would call NiteCap is a study shedding light on the journey. Most shows or journalists stories focus on the destination. I don't focus on the destination because, quite frankly, most of us aren't at that destination. I think what I try to do through these conversations is try to figure out this thing, try to understand the journey so we can reach the destination. So let's pretend the destination we're trying to reach is love. If love is something that's not tangible, how can it be won by things that are? Money, fame, possessions. I think, like I said in the conversation with Chad, it is a spiritual thing. It is a thing I don't know, I think we as humans, we try to control everything. And love is the one thing we can't control. My description of Under the Bridge, which Tom pointed out, was when he's with that woman and they're traversing China and they have nothing and they have to turn to each other. There's no distraction, there's no motivator but just pure affection. And I think, happily for Tom, he figured it out. What I hope Tom does not do is allow his past or his own fear possibly to erode this genuine love, because to move forward, love is sacrifice. It's saying, I believe at least, it's saying that you and a person are one, and it's giving up of self for us, for me and you. And I think that in the monogamy debate, I'm not here to say if it's right or wrong. You know, I personally believe everyone's truth is their truth. What I will say is that, of course, it's possible. I repeat, I'm not going to say if monogamy is the way to go or not. I can't tell another human being what way to go. Why I believe monogamy is the way to go, like in the conversation I expressed with Chad, the results. I don't know any happy union to date where people were seeing more than one person at the same time and it was easy as apple pie. So that's how I choose right or wrong. I choose right or wrong by the experiences I have. So if I do a particular thing and the end result is usually a positive one, then it's the right one. And what I could fathom from monogamy is that when you have one person in your life that really cherishes you, supports you at all ends, I don't think there's anything like that. I think love is just like work, it's like business. If you spread yourself, you give 10% to more than one thing, you're not gonna ever have 100% return. So I think love is the same thing. If you give 100% to an individual, you're gonna get that 100% back. So I repeat, I'm not gonna sit here and argue if monogamy is right or wrong. I will argue that, in my opinion, it is possible. But I think in a society where we're so obsessed with the bottom line, I love John, but when we discuss John, the first thing that comes up is, well, John is a lawyer at this firm and he drives this car, and it's never, I just like John's smile. I just love the way Kathy, I love the way Kathy flicks her hair back. I think that purity has been lost. So getting back to Tom's email about America being a big brothel going to the highest bidder, that may offend some of us on these sides, but does he have a point? When women are discussing a new guy they met, what is being discussed? Man, I just met this guy, he works at such and such, he's such and such. What does a person's possessions have to do with who they really are? So, in closing, I will say that, yes, I believe monogamy is possible. Do I believe it's for everyone? I don't know. But what I will say is this: never create a scenario to justify what you really want to do. So if you want to be a player, you want to have multiple women, cool. But never say all women are bad and love is messed up and relationships are, monogamy is not possible because you want to do a particular thing. Tom, thanks for your email. And we're going to continue to debate these issues because, you know, life is a process. It's a journey of learning. I don't have all the answers, and no one has all the answers. So I look forward to keeping these debates going, keeping the discussion on who we really are. I just think it makes us better. I think when we get to the truth, however ugly it is, we have a sense of understanding for each other. So please keep sending your feedback. Send your feedback to peter@IamPeterBailey.com and stay tuned for more. Thank you. Just real people, real convo.